Hello and welcome back. I'm Joe and this is War Customer Resources, Soviet Republic Season X, Episode 39. This whole general area is not complete, not perfect, but I think we can move on to better, different pastures today because, well, we have established our probably next source of income, hopefully. Fingers crossed, right here in this whole area, everything that we can export should be exported. But that is not all we need to be successful on this republic, on this island specifically. Right now, we have some power sources set up and they're running, and we have enough of them to actually keep us moving. We have a couple power lines that get us there, but we don't have a secure 100% of the time available worker force for the power resources that we have today. That's not good. The other thing that's not good is we don't have a very solid source of all the city demands that we will need, because right now we rely on a ship to come here at the right time and then a truck to pick something up at the right time to bring to the engineering city to Utopia. But what if that comes to an end? What if that is not working for some reason? So today I would like to focus a little bit on things that we kind of have but not really have all the time. You see in some of the drive, but let's see where this one actually wants to go in the city. Obviously the parking spot is relatively close to where we are here, but I'm relatively happy with how everything is turning out so far, so that's exciting. Although you want to park right here, that's fine. We're just going to ignore that and zoom out a little bit and check a couple peripherals. The peripherals that we want to check are, first, how happy are we in the city? Because according to up here, we're doing okay. Lack of meat, a few people. Starving, a few people. Crime, not great. Okay, I may have to triple check that, but overall we're not doing terribly. But let's look at our happiness just in general right here in the city. I see a 57 right here, but only a few people are there. And they seem to have everything that they want, so I'm not terribly concerned about them. There's a 66% down here. Some food problems. Okay. We have... What else do we have? What else is low? There's 68%. Also some food problems. Not great. Not the end of the world. This one is at 57%. Meat, food, electronics, culture, hospital. Okay. This one is pointing at something interesting. This one's also at 57%. No, it's a 65. Is it this one? No, that's at 62. And some food and electronic problems. The numbers that you see here don't always match the numbers that you get when you click on this thing, which is super annoying. But that is not the end of the world. So I'm looking at these and I'm finding that not everyone in the city is happy. Even though when we look at our accounting office, we're 75% happy. We are at almost 100% productivity. That's good. Average lifespan is okay. Our university education versus regular education is not quite where I want it to be yet, but it is acceptable at the very least. Our booze addiction is a little high, but I think with more work we can take care of that relatively soon. So that looks fine. Something that doesn't look fine is something like this. So, 2 trams arrive here at around a similar time. That's fine. And people will get on these trams. I'm assuming this one's going to pick up a couple workers from here. Come on, I want this to be empty before I do the next step. Come on, there we go. It emptied everyone out. Good. I want to wait for the very first worker to actually show up here, which is you. Very good. And I want to see something, and we have to run for faster speed for this. Waiting on platform is going relatively slow because this person is relatively happy and a bunch of other things are going on. And someone actually showed up in time for them to be picked up. That is really, really good news. I did not actually expect that to happen. So let's see what else is going on here. You've been already traveling for over 2 hours. That's wild. Yeah, this is not ideal. Now there is a train going one direction but not the other direction. What happens when this train is actually full? It's obviously not full right now, but if it was full, we may see some problematic activity here. So that guy actually jumped on there. It appears that we in general don't miss many workers, which is kind of awesome. kind of very awesome. So you've only been sitting here for about 22 minutes, but you're still waiting there. Ooh, okay. Nobody jumped on here. Interesting. You are a picky one, aren't you? Yeah, you're still parked here. Okay, but there are 2 new trams that, yeah, you're going to jump on one of them for whatever reason you didn't want the first one. So I think we're very close. We're very close here, but I would like to be a little better. What I would like to have happen is there should be a tram here already. And these trams are somehow blocked or backed up right now for some reason. And obviously, as you can see, we have some traffic happening here. And if I switch this around so that our trams get the right-of-way all the time, which will be one here, you will get the yield sign, you will get the main road, and there you go. That the trams always get the right-of-way. Maybe that will help us keep our public transport running a little smoother, although can't guarantee that yet. We just have to play with it and see how it works out. So that one as well. Is there any other real road crossings that we have? Yes, this one. And that one honestly is an easier one because there shouldn't be a lot of other traffic happening out here. So that feels good. But even with that, what I would like to see in general, and I'm waiting for people to actually leave here, but I'm not seeing those. What I would like to see in general is to have a tram to show up quicker behind where they're currently sitting, which is not what they're doing, which is not the end of the world, but I would just like to fix that. And to fix that, all we have to do is find the right tram, which is a KT8. So when we go over here and say KT8, we should be able to find that one, give it the right color, which in this case is a couple of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a couple of the, I think it's this one, 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. We just get a couple extra from in this loop, and then hopefully we will never have to see people without food and without electronics, because I don't think the stores themselves are actually ever full. So that should go over just okay, I think, I hope. Good. How are things over here? They're okay for now. We're not really overflowing with anything, so we got to produce more, but we also need a lot more workers, and we need a lot more higher educated workers. So as long as these numbers all grow, life should be pretty good for the meantime right now. Good. 74% happiness. That's not very good. It's good enough. So this is one of the problems that I'm looking at. Problem? What's the problem? There's nothing problematic here. No traffic jam, no nothing. Not quite. We are currently getting all of this stuff in by ship. And that is everything here that goes to cities, and then everything here, which is the meat. Right now, all of this stuff gets delivered all the way down here to Utopia, and it works. It works fine. But it's reliant on trucks. The trucks are able to deliver everything that we need, but this is just one city. So once we look at another city, maybe this size, maybe smaller, maybe bigger, maybe other cities of different sizes, we look at a lot of the setups. And right now, I don't know if you noticed that, but right now, most of the covered holds are utilized already by this one distribution office for the one task that it has, which is not a ton of work, but it is work. And it has to go somewhere and has to actually figure out where all those vehicles go. So, yeah, it is busy, to say the least. So what I would like to do is one of the things I would like to do today, and probably it's the only thing I want to get done, is give myself a little hub for different city needs, and we'll just have to figure out what that actually means. I'm going to launch this guy because we will have more exports for vehicles going on in just a minute, and then someone got something destroyed. Oh, that's just this. That's the oil import. I did feel like you should have been in range of someone for fire prevention, but apparently you were not. Does that mean I have to give you a helicopter here? Let me see something. No, you can only make it all the way out there, and it was one of those things that I think I just assumed that, well, if it happens, it happens. It's just too bad. I think it's really annoying to have that happen again. and we have at least one extra spot. So I'm going to give myself, as a gift, one helicopter that can do something here. Where would I put you? I will put you right here, just a little backed up. In there, get a road connection going, and then someone can start building this. And hopefully that will prevent what just happened. Will it actually do something about that? That I don't know, but you never know. What is this? The Jenny, Construction Office 3. You know what? Construction Office 1, 2, and 3, they can all be put together if I really... Yeah, that feels like the right thing to do, but haven't done it yet. Are we done decommissioning this yet? Does not... Oh, come on, just barely anything left. And you can't reassign it until it's until it's empty. It is empty. Wonderful. Let's get someone on there that actually cares, which in this case, I'm just going to use the same construction offices and they will be fun. The helicopter construction office, if it wants to come out here, be my guest. Otherwise, yeah, whatever you want to do. Cool. So, back to this sector. We are getting food in. We are getting everything in that we need for this city and for the next city. Cool. What we don't get is have an easy way to move all this material to the next city, the next city, the next city, which is where a hub would come in. And a hub may be a little overkill with what we have available on our map, but it would be nice to have a place where I can dedicate all my year-long supply of everything that a city needs and store it and then move it around via train. So I can get it from A to B relatively fast, and I don't have to worry about bringing stuff in via ship or via truck or via anything else, because at some point we will start producing some food, some clothes, some electronics, some meat, and some chemicals on the island. Honestly, I would like to do that relatively soon. They're just not very high yield in terms of returns that I would like to see, but they will come. And at some point, we will also want to think about exporting those because, well, once you have surplus of anything, you should definitely export them. So I would like to, well, prepare that with a little hub. So let's build a little hub. The little hub, looking at the map, do we have a lot of good places? I think there's a place here that could house a hub, but there's a wall right here. There's a big old mountain. I guess we could make it over this mountain if we really wanted to, but there's already a rail line here that could technically connect down here, and we could build a ring road if we wanted to, because yeah, there's stuff that I want to do here. There's stuff that I would really like to do here, ideally today, and then yeah, we just need a hub somewhere where we can connect all the stuff that we want and all the stuff that we need. And right now, I feel like a good place for that is this little plateau that we have here, because if we look at all of our resources, there's not a resource available right on this plateau, and the plateau itself is already next to a city, so there's a city here, we don't necessarily need one, and there's not a lot of other stuff industry-wise that we need to place right here. There is a little bit of coal available that we could get here and get an actual coal power plant running, but honestly, my plan for coal is down here and here. Those are my two main coal resources, and if I need to use any of the other ones as well, we will do that, but as of today, I hope we don't need that. So, let's get planning. There's more that I would like to do, but I'm just not sure that that's going to happen. So yeah, if we press F2, you can see that we have a tiny little plateau right here that we can probably expand at least somewhat in this direction. What do we need? If you want to build this, this is very important that you understand how much you need. Look at your economy and trade. Look at your domestic production and consumption. Look at the last year. This is not all the people that you have today, but it gives you an idea. First, it gives us the idea that we made almost 38 million and we spent 32, still about 32 million in something else. So we made about 5 to 6 million, somewhere in there. But there's a lot of rounding going on here. Obviously, there's also waste production, which we don't export most of that, so that's good. People, yep, they're producing some waste, and then demolition also produces a little bit of waste. That's all fine, but overall, that's what we're doing. Let's look at our citizen facilities, what they actually consume. Water. Luckily, we produce that in-house. It just requires some chemicals. They need it. Over 3,000 tons of food, 218 tons of electronics, almost 700 tons of meat. That's a lot. And then a little bit of clothes and a little bit of alcohol. The power we can just ignore because we will have a big supply of power. That's not something I'm worried about. But the hub that we want to build needs to account for all of these things, plus one more, which in the industry is for producing water. You will use some chemicals, which right now is 462 tons of chemicals per year to produce just the water that we want. All of that is a lot. All of that really, really, really is a lot. I'm looking over here because I would like to get the trams in that we ordered earlier, and for that I need to send this one out. Little annoying that it's manual, but look at this guy. You're going to make me 1.562 million. Amazing. Amazing price. Love it when that happens. Cool. So, let's build a hub. Okay. How are you going to connect that hub to, you know, the rail network that we already have running here? And that is an excellent, excellent question. I don't have a really, really good answer for that. I would like to keep it away from, you know, running through this stuff, this network of something that we already have, which means, well, we have to find a different way to do the same things. And I would like to start with actually getting the rail connections in here before we do anything else. Just feels like not a bad place to go. So, how about you? Do you want to kind of join up on here? And I'm not 100% sure where I want this to end yet, but let's just start right there. There's a big old hump here and something funny going on with the curve. We should be able to fix that at least a little bit. Don't love how that looks already. Great start. Good start. Super start. There we go. We'll just call that one, yeah, kind of like that. The next one, how about we just, here, I'm feeling easy. I'm feeling simple. I'm feeling like we don't have to make this harder than it absolutely has to be. So once you get off the main line onto this track, we can just force you to turn around and come back and give us what we need. And for that, all we need is a very simple roller coaster. Nothing complicated, just a very simple roller coaster will get us probably what we need. And I am... I'm very, very tempted to not make it this steep. 12 meters feels too high. 8 meters is probably not good enough, but let's see if we can connect this. Yes, we can, and we can actually already level out, which is perfect. And then we can potentially just end up right on top of this mountain. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I like it. I like that a lot. And then get a just a simple rail connection down here. This is not a real flying junction. Let's not call it that just yet. There's not a butterfly junction or anything like that. But it will do what we need. Here's just the problem that I have with these types of junctions. Yuck. Excuse me, very yuck, actually. It clearly goes down and then kind of goes up, and it's just ugly, ugly, ugly. And let's see if we can make this just a little better. I think we should be able to make a little less of a pig's ear out of that, but overall, I just know when we want to do something like this, there's either you build a mount of sorts, or you build a bridge of sorts. Those are really the only two options that you get. Let's see how it looks when we just do this. Yeah, it's just gonna try to jump right there. The mountain looks nicer. That's cool, and that's a nice smooth connection, but overall here's still not quite right, and we are going down. The downhill part is definitely something we don't need right now, so let's take those out. Try to level this out a little more so we can actually get to the hub portion of today's adventure, which, as you will hopefully agree later on when we're done with all of this, is relatively important and super exciting. It just made the note disappear that we had here earlier. That's... oh no, there's the note. Okay. So I would like to get somewhere here. I think this is kind of where we were. Then I will just back it up a little bit with my bulldozer tool, and then I will go back on the bridge and see if this one clips anything that I care about. It's... I'm not sure that it does. It does feel like it's a little too close for comfort, so we're going to do this one more time. Somewhere there. Rail, delete tool, right there maybe, and then this will be the last attempt, and we will just go up here and call this one as good as we're going to get it. That's not the end of the world type of connection there. It's fine. It's totally fine. So now we have those connections. These are the on-ramps. Great. We need off-ramps too. How are we going to get off of this stuff? That's an excellent question. I think I have a couple ideas. The first one is very simple. All we have to do is make this thing just, you know, kind of agree with what we're trying to do here, which there's a little mountain there. If we ignore that for the time being, how about we just don't even go close to this? Instead, we're going to connect right here, and then we're going to go off. That's better. We have a connection here. That's great. Now let's get in between and make the land look a little better from there to there. And now when we use the bulldozers or the excavators, it's a little flatter. It's not perfect. That's fine. That's the first one. This is one return loop. Okay, the other return loop has to get back onto this, ideally before this junction, so they can actually make a decision wherever they want to go, which most of the time will always be the same direction. But where would we put that? One option would be to cross right here and kind of run on the outside of this thing and just kind of have you come back over, under, around over here, and we could do that. That would be fine. I don't think there's enough room for anything else to do here besides, and I'm saying besides here a little more careful, besides, okay, we can do the bridge. Let's see how ugly the tunnel would look. Almost. That is too extreme. It would work, but the angle is a little too much. So let's take you back a couple and try this again. We need EE. I don't want to go too low. If we press F3, we can actually see something. F2 turns off the ugly, just for the time being. Gosh, how low do we have to go? How low can you go? How low can you go? 1, 2. It's acting like some of the infrastructure is like outside of where it wants to be, but that honestly, it doesn't mean it. Yes, remove that thing. That looks good. And then this tunnel should be able to come back up and surface right there. That turn, nothing about that honestly feels too yucky, so we're just going to keep that for now. Get you connected back in here and say, this will work. It's not perfect, but this will work. Okay, let's continue. So now we have our two very simple junctions there. And another thing, well, I kind of didn't want to avoid this guy, but in all honesty, we have a fuel station there and a fuel station right here that's not built yet. Should be enough for all of our diesel trains to come through here and get what they need. Plus, I'm fully expecting to support this with a rail distribution office and not with lines if I can help it. Sometimes lines will still be necessary and even preferred, but for right now, let's just say that we don't need lines for the whole thing. Good. Let's level this out a little bit. Give me the excavators and a small building. Why am I using a small building? There's no really good explanation for that. Give me something a little bigger, like the courthouse. Sure, courthouse. Your footprint is not quite what I want it to be, but it's fine. And as you can see, there's a big cliff there. You can totally level that out with your bulldozers. You can also level that out with just excavators if you want to be a little finicky about this, but overall, when I have a chance, I will use a relatively large building, like the medical university, beautiful, and just level out these last few corners to make building the next part easier. if you want to. You can also just use the cheat menu and then the landscape mode and then go to town on whatever's going on here. It will take seconds instead of minutes, but this is fine. This will get you there. This is gameplay. Well, I don't know. I'm honestly, I'm having a hard time defining that, if this is really gameplay related or if this is just you picked a stupid map because you have to do too much terraforming, or if this is you don't have to terraform. You could also just build in where the mountain allows it, or don't build on a mountain at all, or you have to build everything smaller and there's just no hub on the island. Those are all gameplay decisions, which makes me think the terraforming part of it maybe, just maybe gameplay. Maybe it's not the best gameplay, but it's still kind of part of the decisions that you have to make to be successful in this game, or, well, unsuccessful. So, I don't know, you tell me. Is terraforming part of gameplay? Or should it be? I'm not arguing that it can be different, but I don't really, I'm not looking for those suggestions. There are so many repeat suggestions about the terraforming out there. It's enough. It's just enough. Just someone go out there, read them before you put the same suggestion out again and again and again and again and again. I mean, there's only so much of the same stuff you can read, right? Doesn't matter. Not trying to go on a rant here. I'm just trying to make this thing kind of flat. And we did now. We have now. Everything's great. Cool. Let's build something. The first thing that we need, absolutely need, is a cargo station that can actually handle the type of throughput that I'm expecting here. And I feel like this thing will do just fine. Let's put it relatively close to where we have those two junction connections over there, and then F2, so we don't have to see funny things. You remember the economy and trade tab that I had open earlier, looking at last year and then citizen facilities. These are the numbers that you should keep in mind when you want to build this hub to actually make all your materials available, all your resources available. The biggest one is food. We are using 3,200 tons of food for, let's say, 2,600 people. However, half of those are on the island, half of those are on the peninsula. So, the peninsula right now, as of today, for 13,000 people requires about 1,600 tons of food to survive for a year. Okay. We have a tiny population on this island so far, and we're going to double the city population down here, hopefully in the next few years. And there's still a lot more island to go, so don't stick with that number, but also you may not need enough food reserves for the full year. You just need enough food reserves for in between now and when the food factory spits out food again, and the food factory spits out a lot of food. And at that point, it really just matters that you have a big enough grain storage to let your food factories run for the whole year, so you can produce food every month, and you just store a big portion of that. What I think I'm going to go with is we need about 1,600 tons per year. One of these can handle 800 tons of food. That's not a ton. That's not a ton. But I feel relatively confident that if I place 2 of these close by in this area, that we will have enough food supply covered to not have to starve anytime soon when there's a short outage of the food. So that's what we're going to start with. And that's just food. Cool. How much meat did we need? Well, I'm glad you asked, because it was a lot, and I don't want to get that number wrong. Meat, almost 700 tons. One of our meat storages of the large one does about 350 tons, so having 2 of these full makes me feel like we're probably covered for the whole year, so that's what we're going to go with. Let's pop the first one there, the second one here, and then we just need to make sure that we have a road connection for this guy to go somewhere. Doesn't really matter where it is. Could we get these a little closer? Probably. I'm not sure that that's necessary right now, so let's leave it alone. Okay, those are taken care of. There's more. Yeah, you could have just taken a picture of this and then always just come back to it, but I'm not that guy. So there's food. We have done meat. Now, electronics, 218. Okay, alcohol. Okay. Let's look at the numbers here. because they're not all the same. You can store 800 tons of food, but only 480 tons of chemicals, or only 400 tons of plastics, or only 560 tons of electronics. They have different volumes. It's not always the same. So you can't just assume, just because you figured out one tonnage, that you know the next one. So for electronics, we need about 1/3 of this warehouse for a year. Cool. For clothes, we need about 1/8. We can round it up to 1/4. So 1/3 plus 1/4 is, what is it? 3/12 plus 4/12 is 7/12 is close to a half. Okay? Just napkin math, yeah. Close to a half. So just for electronics and for clothes, we need half. And then 430 tons of alcohol is about another half. With that, with one more warehouse, we should be able to handle all the other demands for a similar amount as we're storing for food. So that's what I like to go with. However, I would like to add one what? I would like to add one warehouse that's more kind of random in the middle there. So let's see if we can actually squeeze you in here. Yes, this is where I would want you, but I don't think I can get a road out of here. No, I can't. Okay, so yeah, I would like to make sure that I have enough redundancy. It doesn't have to be a ton, but enough redundancy to make sure that I'm not just gonna run out of something just because I, did the napkin map wrong somewhere along the line when nobody was watching. It happens, trust me. It has happened to me before. Okay, let's use the not the excavators, the bulldozers to get a little more on level ground here so the roads know where they have to go. There you go, you're doing great. All of that is good, and you got all of this. Are we done yet? No, and we could say that we are done because we do need chemicals, and I haven't technically placed chemicals yet in this group. But what do we have? We have food done. Yes. We have electronics done. Yes. We have clothes done. Yes. We have alcohol done. Yes. Just chemicals are missing. How many chemicals do we need? Some. What's some? You should know that. 480. 480 is what we need. Because that was our industry consumption of chemicals. 462 tons. The large one can handle 480 tons of chemicals. None of that is bad. All that feels pretty good enough. Pretty good, pretty doable. And it's using all of the connections on this side. So yeah, what we're going to do is these two food, these two meat, this one, all the support ones, and this one's for chemicals. And then we have a city hub taken care of. Something that's important here that you should not just, that you shouldn't ignore is the fact that all of this effectively means all of this is not a one-to-one delivery cycle setup. All of this is very much a collection hub. A collection hub that will bring it to different, more regional hubs. And those regional hubs are the ones that have to be able to hold or to supply whatever's connected to those regions. This one is just an in-between storage that I can just send all my sources, and as long as this one is full, I can take all the rest and export it. And from this one location, we can always export. We should always have enough stuff to actually move something, and I'm building it here because it's really close to the harbor, which means one more distribution office somewhere here should be able to at least fill this up in the beginning, and once we produce our own stuff, we will turn off the ship import anyways, so all of that can actually happen. I'm kind of excited for all of that. So yeah, so far so good. I feel like here is a relatively good, let's do F4 and turn the snapping off. This feels like a relatively good bridge point because we do want to deliver via truck to this place first because all of these are directly connected to it. And I don't want to make this a truck-centric situation because trucks will not be important anymore at some point. So first, let's see if we can put a bridge in here that's not super ugly. 29 meters on that side, 27 meters on this side. That's pretty good, and 18 meters there, which means we do have a nice little gully already. Let's use it. The using it's sometimes a little harder than what it's worth, but let's see here. It would be nice. It would be very nice if this bridge was not trying to kind of go down. Oh, we can make it kind of not go down. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. Take you back, take you back, take you back. Give me the bulldozer because this is just a few feet. It should be relatively easy. First, we take the bulldozer and move you out a little bit on that side, and then we take the bulldozer and move you out a little bit up on this side. So the bridge itself, hopefully, is flat. And then just the road connections behind it will make up for the little bit of a difference that that is whatever it is. 2982, 20, not 2982. Okay. Let's do 29.4, 29.4. There we go. Now we're getting there. Now we're getting what I want. Cool. Yes. Road connection right there. Bridge connection right here. It should tell me current height 0 meters. Current height elevation -4 meters. That means there's a little incline there, but this is what we want. 0 meters. A little bit of road connection right there, and it will be mostly that direction. That feels good. Get that one connected and built. We do need power for this, but I'm not terribly worried about that yet, simply because that will totally show up very soon. With all that in mind, did we get our new tram lines in yet? Yes, we did, and we have our train already parked here saying, hey, I don't have enough room, and that ship says, hey, I don't have enough room either. So let's see if we can at least get these out of the way right now, and we can. Sadly, the button that says move all to a depot does not work with trams for whatever reason, but we're just going to work with what we have here and just send them down to the depot manually, and once these are all disappearing, we should be able to add the the last few, and I think there were just 2 left, to the group, and that will make us feel better. Yeah, that'll be great, and then we can start exporting more automagically than we're doing right now. Cool. So, this is all here. This is getting started to be built. We just need some power here. We have fire protection right across the street, so I'm not terribly worried about that. Let's get all this more or less finalized. Okay, let's do that. Make that one in, make this one out. Are you sure? Should you just do the outside one as an out? Good call. I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that, but here's a thing that I know I want to do. I want to run this with rail distribution offices right now. There's so much extra room back here. I'm not even sure that I want to do what I'm about to do right now, but I feel like it's the right thing to do. Okay, let's just start with the rail distribution offices and see what happens. The more room we give ourselves, myself, the better for myself. F2, there is a gully here. Okay, that's a small problem, but nothing that we can't fix. Good enough. Again, we don't need this to be perfect, we just need it to be usable. And I think at this stage, it is certainly usable. Let's get you in there, let's press T and rub you as close as we can to the existing building. I would say that is not quite. And I guess it was enough for me to try to redo the whole shebang. Maybe there? Yeah, that's as close as I'm going to get it. So we're just going to leave it at that. Yeah, they're at least overlapping and kind of touching and doing those things, and that's great. But yeah, these are the rail distribution offices for hopefully just deployment. I may have enough trains left over in all of these to actually do the import as well, but I can't be sure about that yet. So here's what I want to do. This setup requires a little bit of thinking because the game makes it relatively hard to make something a two-directional non-terminal, a two-directional through station. What does that mean? If I set this up like this, where I have this connection here, and it's just for argument's sake, say that I have someone going over here, and then have this guy connected anywhere to this rail distribution office. Okay, let's say there's a signal right here. That signal has something. There's a signal right here. There's a chain signal that points into the station. Cool. Why don't you just show it? Yes, I would like to show it, because this is a thing that really happens very, very often and makes things kind of complicated at times. I don't think you can actually put a signal right here. No, I cannot. Okay, let's try that again. Like that. Put a signal here. Anywhere you can't. Okay, let's get the joiner. Joiner is out. Place a signal anywhere here. Right there is perfect. Then place a little bit of rail in here. That's perfect. And then that rail is already placed here. That also looks great. Okay. If you have a train here that will be released that wants to go into the station and gets to the signal, it'll be like, okay, either it's green or it's red. Don't know. If you have a train here, sitting here, waiting in this chain signal, and this signal will eventually turn red or green. And this is more prevalent probably when there's a diamond crossing over here, but this will happen too. It has happened. I've seen it. And it makes things really annoying. But a train over here is waiting for this signal right here to turn green. If it was red, which means if there's a train in here and it's just about to leave, once the tail leaves this little blue block, this signal will turn green. This signal will wait until there's nobody else in the block right in front of it, but once this block is empty, this signal will turn green. Great. Down here, because nobody's in the block, a train is already leaving, going through this signal to the north side, because this signal is green as well as this signal. Now, once this train leaves this signal, and this train that sets up here leaves the chain signal, that train will effectively be parked right here. Once the train is parked there, there's nowhere for the train that just entered right here to leave the station. So this train will block this platform forever, because there are two ways to get into the station. That is the problem. That is the problem for through stations. I have seen a couple, not terribly convoluted, but yes, convoluted ways to address this. I never liked any of them, so I'm not going to recommend them, but I do know that there are some ways to get around this. But no, not for me. Not for me. What I'm going to do instead is chicken out and simply say the outside 3 connectors here are terminal stations, and the inside 3 are rail distribution office stations. And I'll show you what that looks like when we're done with it. F4 to get a couple connections here. And do I want a little bit of weighting? Yes, I do want a little bit of weighting. Okay, if we do that, then we need the inside, this one specifically, to be our main runner. Very good. And then we need these guys to be, I guess, about 200 meters, 400 meters, 250 meters. What's the length of the distribution office right now? The length is 155, so anything 200 meters or more should be more than sufficient for what we want to do here. So let's see what 200 meters looks like. Right there. Perfect. I think there's an opportunity here for a little bit of improvement. Sounds good. I would like to just place a baller here. Very good. Take this one back. Very nice. And then give me my bulldozers. Level this out a little bit. There you go. Ah, beautiful. Beautiful what you're doing here. All I'm trying to do here is make sure that we're not jumping on a ramp with our trains. Instead, something, you know, semi-smoothish. Make sure this one's actually connected, and then we should be good there. And I will add a extra track. What is that extra track for, B-Ball Joe? I am glad you ask. We're going to get to that in just a second, but let's get these connected first. Something a little bit straighter usually makes it easier to get these connected somewhat semi-attractively. Not always. Definitely not always, but sometimes definitely. Get rid of that one. Join all of these, and then that's good. That's good for there. So, yeah, these are the 3 in. Then this is our first out. Is it really our first out, or is it our second out? It could be our first out. Okay, it's our first out. What we need now, and this is why the 400 meter, 200 meter length there is important. I'm going to place myself a couple signals here so I can actually find it, or make sure that we're not going shorter than that. I wanted this connection. This connection is simply to get us out on the out track, and you don't want to connect this. That's fine. F4 may make this a little easier without the snapping. Oh, come on. We've done this a million times now. Just let me in. Let me in. From like there to there? Nope. F4 to at least snap to this point, and then no F4 to snap to... I saw it. This will work. Gets us all the connections that we need, and everyone can get onto this track, which is perfect. We still have 2 tracks that would also like to get out. Don't just connect them right away, simply because we want to make sure that we can put a signal somewhere here, but this length for signal is more than sufficient. If we can get you somewhere in there, then I know we are good, but that's too short. that is way too short. Let's try that just a little bit nicer, and by that I mean a little bit longer. So let's get you here, you just on the outside of you, and then yep, this is nicer. This is a little more smooth, a little more something. F4 again gives us a good enough connection then, and everyone can leave, get on the same track, and everyone gets out. Cool, easy enough. That also means on these guys we really just have 3 tracks that we really want to connect to. I am not terribly worried about that. Honestly, it should hopefully, F4 to get the snapping back, it should hopefully help a little bit, and looks like you are kind of right connected to the warehouse, but not too close, but close enough. You go there, you go here, F4 off, there you go, and then you need to connect to this guy sometime, at some point. Take you back, take you back. More rail connection, there you go. So all of those can go to these triple tracks there. These, I'm just going to do the fake connection that I kind of like to do. They're not absolutely not necessary, but these will get a, like a little bollard. So you know that they are no longer going anywhere. And now I have to decide this. Am I going to ignore all of these factory connections forever? Or do I want to be smart and proactive a little bit and get those things connected to something, or at least allow myself to connect them to something later on? And I think my answer to that is very simple. Let's be a little proactive and allow myself to connect them to something else later on. So let's take these out, get you connected to something there. You should be able to get in here. Perfect. That's our in. And then this will be a tunnel. Very simple. Very simple. Nothing complicated, nothing complex. Simply a tiny bit, get a tiny bit of distance between there and here, like so. Then get the tunnel in here. QQ, F3 to see something, Q again. 12 meters below, I guess is what you want. That's fine. And then we're going to run just a little bit until we meet again. You're above the terrain at some point. That's fine. Let's go right here. It's the end of the whole cargo station. And you should be able to connect to this thing at some point. Obviously, it doesn't like it right now, but we will figure that out. Honestly, there's an easy way to do this. Take that one back. Make the tunnel first. Q. There we go. 12 meters is what that one wanted. 12 meters is what this one wanted. These can honestly connect however they want to connect. There's a little bit of a discrepancy there. That's fine. Nobody will ever see that. And I see it. Okay. Okay. I see it. Make this a little more straight. And how do we make this straight? Oh, I'll show you a trick. Let's use this, and I'm using my left control to actually make those connections there. Then take me this piece of track, make this our tunnel length, or our tunnel piece that we want to connect there, and that's all we're going to use. So there's a note there, perfect. We're just going to sever it right in the middle, get the tunnel in here, go down, down, down. There you go. F3, make this relatively straight. Doesn't have to be perfect. Then U, 1, 2, 3. Again, relatively straight. If there's no azimuth, then we should be good. 9 meters. I don't really care how deep you want to go there. Then there you go. It's a straight piece of tunnel instead of a crooked piece of tunnel, which is all we wanted the whole time. You can connect right into there. All we want here is a little bit of room for a couple signals, and we should have more than enough for all the signals that we want here. Everyone's connected. We have a little bit of extra space, and we can use the factory connections on that side. Plus, we already had the flying junction built over here. Beautiful. Good job. Get going. I love that they already started on this one. Very nice. How are we doing on everything? Cool. 56 minutes. There are some issues that are coming up because this guy is almost full. It's mostly full because we had the vehicle production line burned down earlier, and that's not very helpful, but it is what it is. Is our oil flowing again? Speaking of something collapsing, it looks like you are operating without issues. Beautiful. Love to see that. How's this going? How's this going? How's this going? Very good. Everything is full. We can probably purchase another tanker if we really felt like it. How are things over here? We still have more of these to unload. You're not actually move. Oh, you can't move because this guy's here. Aha! Good to know. Let's send you here just for the time being so the other guys can leave so I can actually turn on the trams. Glad I checked on this. Looks like we're getting a couple extra workers there. That is nice, and I like seeing that we already have a few extra vehicles available to do the thing. Yeah, once they clear that light over there, the signal, they're actually moving. So they're building this. That is all happening. That is nice. We do need at least one substation. I just like the footpath ones because they don't sever your road connections. So that's the first one there. We do have a couple road connections that we haven't actually built. So put that one here. Get rid of you. You don't want to go there. Got it. What are you talking about? The sides are too steep for an incline or something. Then make them less steep? I don't know. I don't know what you need me to tell you, but this should be just fine. It's just a little slant. We can build on those little slants. Even though this is probably already enough. Cool. The turn is not too sharp. That can go in there. That can go in here. Yeah, they're all connected. That's good. And as you know, if we want to run any type of diesel transfer here, which I generally try to run at least a mix, let's put a little bit of power here. Okay, that one can run power there. And then we just need a power connection. How many do we have still available? Probably none. That is my guess. Probably none, and I would be right in that. There's just a little bit extra right here for high voltage connections. One extra. Okay, that's the one that we're going to use then, F2, so we can actually see something. And high voltage switch number 6. With 6 connections, that means. You can come here. And then, yeah, we're just going to spread them out because we had this problem before, but we just didn't have enough power connections available. Are you able to get up there? No, too steep. I don't think so. I don't think so. F4 turns off the snapping. First part overlaps with existing connection. No, it's fine. There's that one connected. Then give me the 10 megawatt power line. You can come right down here. What do you think? In here? Okay. You fit there, then that is fine. And just in there, that's also good enough. And then a quick power transformer right here. And then, yeah, you can feed into whatever we want. Because we should have at least enough power substations here to run for a little while. And we're only going to use one. There we go. we're only going to use one substation because I will split the medium voltage out here as well. Put that one there. Get me 1.2, 1.5? Sure. 1.5 out there, and 1.5 out there and here. Beautiful. And then we're just going to use a large voltage connection out here. Trying to run some relatively straight lines, but it didn't fully work. But it's fine. It's fine. They did what they needed to do. And they will pick this up. And then we have power. We will pick these up, and we will need trains. We will need these guys to actually go home so we can turn them on. And you're in the way again. Sorry. But you gotta go. Get out of here. And I would like you, and you to go to your new home, and then we can turn them on, and then we are all done. I will tell you a little bit of my plans for the, well, near future, because that's really what matters. Near future-wise, I would like to secure the power production that we have going on today. We have enough power. We will have enough power for the whole Republic in this little one slot that we have here, as long as we always build more power grids and don't rely on the ones that we already have, because they're already not overloaded, but close to it. I would like to give this situation, all of everything that goes on here, a steady supply of workers. To do that, I would like to use what Forseti did in their map in the last review that I did, which used a lot of public transit. For that, I would like to utilize this tiny little almost island. Yeah, that's connected there. But this would be the central hub for a small community of a couple cities or 3/4 cities of 1,500 to 2,000 people, no more than that. Have a city sitting here, have a city sitting here. Maybe have a city there, probably have a city here because there's a lot of iron available right behind this. To just run small industries. Small industries, obviously one of them is just power here and a little bit of recycling there. Then iron mine and iron production. And then, yeah, we need wood. That doesn't require a lot of workers at all. But we need a couple things to come in. So chemicals would be great, but that needs more workers than what I have, which is why I didn't want to do this today. I didn't have a full plan on what industry I actually want to run with the workers that I would get out of these small towns, and if I even want to run a rail connection there, which this could be a terminal connection. And then I would have, well, potentially a cableway running down here, a bus line running from there to there, a bus line running from this city to right here. So we always have a steady stream from different sources for the same thing. Now, there's a problem. If everything is dependent on this one food supply here, this one central city, that has problems in and of itself, but I'm hoping I can mitigate that by using this city as well for bringing more workers in. So we will just have to see how things are playing out. What is your problem? You are blocking yourself because look at the signal here. That should be fine. That should be fine. You are a block signal. You're blocking yourself because you have now entered. There's no good reason why you're blocking yourself, buddy. Oh, because effectively, if I put a block signal there, then this block signal becomes useless, and without that block signal, it shouldn't block itself anymore. Yeah, that's fine. What are you gonna do here? Or just turn around? Oh, because this piece is kind of connected to the whole thing, it was blocking itself. Got it. That's fine. Cool. Done what I wanted to do for now. They have to build this rail piece a little bit. And then, yeah, I do have to worry about what we're going to do with the extra construction waste. We don't have a lot of it, but it is accumulating, and we do need to do something with that. So probably time to build a separate gravel industry on the island and turn off that import as well. We can do that also with the three. Look at this. Yes. We can also do that with the 3 cities that I'm planning on building, because we don't need a lot of resources for that. But one of the resources that we could get out of that is prefabs. So we could set up a whole export-centric industry that can actually handle those things, which honestly, that's not a bad thing. But yeah, there's a lot more to do. We have 80% happiness in our citizens, which is amazing. Temperature in buildings too low. That part I'm not terribly worried about. Let's turn on a few trams that we already have available here. Click that button and click this button. Give me one of these. Turn that one off. Go here, click this button and let them also enjoy their freedom with their newly found, lines. Cool. That's what I had. I hope the trams that we just added take care of everything that this city potentially has as a problem. But I'm not convinced by either or yet. This one seems to work, but we're still losing a couple workers every once in a while, which is not the end of the world. Traffic-wise, this looks wonderful. Production-wise, all of this looks good. We have more available. I just haven't had a chance to actually get more things organized. I need to turn on the actual export of the ship, so let's get you going. View line details, no ship dock. Thank you very much. So you will now continually work, which makes it harder to import anything, but look at this. There's money sitting there. You still have 252,000 on here. This should be about 1.3 or so million ruble, just waiting to be exported, and there's more sitting in all the other buildings, as you just saw. So things are moving along exactly like I need them to, which is wonderful. Do you have sewage? Yes. There were some comments that I saw recently, and I was just like, oh, sewage is not working, but it is. We're fine. Cool. That's what I had. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again in episode 40. Bye-bye.